Many business owners don't see the value in social media marketing, probably because they've had bad experiences with it or they've heard about others who have or something. And if you're one of them, today we're going to address that. This is the Tech Your Business podcast where we break down technology, inform you about the latest in technology to help your business learn more, earn more, and do more. My name is Peter, and on today's guest episode, we'll be speaking with Curtis. Curtis is the founder of Smart Social, SMRT Social, and he has been in the social media game for over 12 years now. And he'll share his tips and insights with us today. So, welcome to the show, Curtis.
Thanks, Peter. It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming on. So, dealing with clients over time, you've been in this for a really long time. What has been the biggest blocker you've seen to them adopting social media for their businesses?
I think the biggest reason businesses have a hard time adopting social media usually comes down to fear.
Hmm.
A lot of times businesses are afraid of spending a lot of money on something they don't quite know how to make it work. Like they'll have an employee that'll say, "Oh, I could do social media," and oh, great, so I'll add social media, responsibilities to your daily tasks, but I'm not going to necessarily pay you any more to do it. So they try to look for how can I get it for free, but then that person, posts some stuff, does some things, but then it doesn't really turn into business. And they go, I don't know why I'm paying you for this if it's not doing anything. So they don't understand how it works, how to make it effective, and because of that, they don't want to spend money on it. And so that's what we like to do at Smart Social is help them understand and find ways that it can be demonstrated and it can be utilized to help move the needle for their business.
All right, so that's interesting. That's fear. Fear is actually one thing that stops almost everybody from doing everything, and it's like a once bitten, twice shy situation. So back to you. Let's go back a few years. How did you get started in social media marketing?
So I got into social media back when it got started. Since we've been in this long enough that I think we've been in business longer than Instagram has been a public company. It's been quite a while. We've seen a lot of changes. I got into it because I had a business at the time in the direct sales industry that was really struggling. We had some economic challenges back then, and I was just trying to figure out how to reinvent my business. Basically, how do I get my marketing to work because it just wasn't working anymore. And in reading a bunch of books, I had read a couple books on social media. And I thought, oh, this would be a really interesting thing to look into. So as I got looking into it more, I realized, man, this would be a great thing to help my business. I could get reviews online, have my customers tell their friends about me. There's a lot of value with this. So what I did was just started to learn, read more books on it and things. I started to figure out how can I make this work? How can I grow my business? How can I make this go in the right direction? And then I came up with an idea for a mobile app. I thought, if I could get my customers to leave reviews on Facebook for me, that could help my business quite a bit. I could do some good marketing from that. So I got some business partners and we went to town building an app to do that basically. And so it wasn't quite specifically in the social media space, but it was kind of in there. Uh, I learned in doing sales for that business that at the time, social media was so new, very few businesses had their own business page on like Facebook. So they were struggling to adopt our software without having a business page. And that was a major sales holdback that we were having. So I was going to propose to my team basically that we start building Facebook pages for people and help them out with this Facebook thing so that they will adopt our app and get reviews and things going on Facebook and Google and so forth. Well, my partners decided that they wanted to take the company in a different direction, so I got voted out. So I just started helping businesses basically do social media. I just started helping them to make this work. So they had a page, they had content, they had things running. And then I've just been doing it ever since. I've built up a team of 6 employees. And that's what we do, is we help businesses stay on top of the trends and to keep them going, and helping them with the bottom line of their business through using social media and other online marketing tools.
Hmm. That's an interesting story and something that comes up really regularly where you start one thing and that thing leads you to what you finally end up doing. That comes up a lot.
Yeah, it was quite the journey to go through, that's for sure.
It definitely was. So convincing these early business owners, because back then I know it was something that was really new to them compared to now, where one of the as you register your business there, you're being told to set up your social media pages. Back then it was like you said, it was something they didn't know about. Most businesses didn't have it. So what were the some of the early challenges you had convincing some of those people to of the importance of having these social media pages and everything?
It was interesting. Right at the very beginning, most people were either of the mindset of, I don't want to do some newfangled thing. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of not wanting to try something new, all the way up to, man, I'm trying to do this, but I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a whole different ball of wax. And we still kind of have that fundamental problem today, because social media for marketing purposes is a very different type of marketing than what most businesses are traditionally trained to think about. When you think of marketing, most people think more of, I use the analogy of fishing. You go out, you cast a net, you drag it in, and you sort through the fish. Basically, pick out the ones you want, throw the rest back. In traditional marketing, it's that same idea. Basically, you're just trying to catch people who need you right now. If I was a plumber, I don't need people who might need me to hire me in 9 months. I want to find people who need to hire me right now. So they think in these short terms, more of like an event. Whereas social media is better used as a journey. So instead of thinking about social media from the standpoint of how can I make sales in the next 30 days, you need to look at social media and go, how can I use this to help me in 9 months from now have good sales? So you can get ahead of your competition, basically using social media. In fact, we had a client, here's an interesting anecdote for this. We had a client that was using a third-party website for leads. There was a website that they went to generate leads. So this company built a site for the sole purpose of generating leads for one type of industry. And then what they do is they generate those leads and they sell them to multiple businesses. And then it's the business's job to call and try to win the contract, basically, from all those leads. And they're like, yeah, they're good leads. They work out. Sometimes they're bad leads. Sometimes we struggle with them. And so I talked with them. I says, why don't we get ahead of that website? See, if we get a good social presence going, if we can get some opportunities to catch people 6 to 9 months before they need you, you don't need to use that lead gen service. You can basically control your whole lead process and gain the people earlier. You nurture them along. And so that's what we started to do to help them in growing their marketing, is get things set up to where they're, instead of having to bid and try to outbid everybody, which is usually a race to the bottom, to talk to the people before they go to that website. And then they need less reasons to go to that lead gen website because you're already talking to them. So you're warming them up. You're getting them trained to hire you, basically. So it takes a bit longer sales cycle, but in the long run, you end up with higher quality leads and less competition you have to worry about. So that's what we were trying to do for them. And that's a great way to use social media for marketing, is think about not just who needs me now, but how can I attract the people who are going to need me over the next 9 to 12 months and teach them to hire me when they need me, basically. So you're preceding the field, if you will, to get more leads coming in later on, basically.
That's smart. That's really smart. So, over the past 12 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes. You've seen a lot of these things. So, how has the landscape of social media marketing evolved over these past 12 years you've been in business?
Oh man, it is so different today than it was when we started. When we started, to give you perspective, when we started, the social media sites were predominantly Facebook. MySpace, we had YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram was kind of starting to get out there, basically. So that gives you an idea. Musically, which has been bought and turned into TikTok, Musically was still around back then as well a little bit. It was still hanging on. So the that's what we had, and it was mainly just trying to have a presence on there is all it was. Nowadays things, but back then Facebook was the only one that had an algorithm to determine who saw what. All the rest were more literal, just you know your most recent post is at the top of the list and your older post at the bottom. And then everybody's been slowly working on putting algorithms in place, and now it's heavily algorithmic. So as what we saw basically is Facebook took an early lead because they had the algorithms to determine a better user experience for people. Nobody else was really thinking about how can I help have that better, how can I help people find information faster? More of just, here's a list of your stuff, you've got to kind of scroll through it. And Twitter
Yeah.
was interesting because it started very hyper specific. People were following you and waiting for you to tweet the next thing you're doing, and people would be like, just picked up a cup of coffee, back to my office. They were doing these little micro posts so you can kind of follow like a little journal of your day. And now it's turned into more conversation. Twitter's gone way more into building conversations. It's still very real time, which is why I like it a lot. But now, as the social networks started to grow, we started getting more and more competitors. We've seen a few adjustments to that. Some competitors have stayed, like for instance, Pinterest is one that is still around to this day. They're still doing really, really well because they didn't directly compete with Facebook. They basically came into the space from a different perspective of using pictures. They were one of the first sites to really go deep into pictures and images, not text, but pictures. And so that turned into a good collaborative website to use. And then they had a dozen spinoffs, and most of them have died since then. We have LinkedIn is around and doing really well right now. It's kind of had its ups and downs as well. So it's been, it started as a more of a social network, turned into a blogging type site, kind of went back to more business information and job searches, and has gone now back into more social stuff, and he's even allowing businesses to be more social on LinkedIn just recently. So there's a lot of changes. What the biggest challenge that the social networks have had is kind of a twofold situation. One is they want to help you gather the information you're looking for. And Facebook has by far done the best, which we saw through the 2016 presidential election here in the United States, that as they were doing this, the challenge with helping you find more of what you want to see is it encourages you to drive deeper down the rabbit hole, basically. So if you are, when we talk about politics, this happened a lot in the 2016 election. If you are like a Republican, you're going to end up seeing more Republican stuff on social media. If you're a Democrat, you're going to see more Democrat stuff on social media. The problem is it wasn't showing you the opposing view.
Yeah.
So you had a polarization that started to happen. You just saw your side of the world, and that was it. And then they realized, okay, so hyper personalization is we're getting to the point where it's causing a problem. So we need to mix other values and views in there, which they haven't done a good job of yet. But they're trying to get a good user experience. So that's one of the challenges they have. How can we keep users' eyeballs looking at our social network? How do we keep them here looking at stuff? And that's where helping you to find what you want to find makes a big impact. The other side of it is scammers are using social media sites like crazy, and they're working their way around the system and finding loopholes and ways to use them with different strategies so that they can get what they want out and not really provide any value to the network. And so they're trying to figure out, how do we limit those people while also encouraging people to use our site? So there's kind of this twofold situation they have, plus to deal with competition. When TikTok came on the scene several years ago, at first they were seen as just kind of that outlier, yeah, we've done the short video stuff. Vine was a company that Twitter acquired a while ago and then closed down. That was like a 15-second videos. They had other There's been other sites that try to do the short video stuff, and TikTok has done well with it. The challenge that everybody ran into was TikTok's algorithm was extremely different than everybody else's. Most people were focusing on helping you get more of what you want to see. TikTok did the opposite. They said, we want to show you basically a wider variety of similar things. So not go deeper with the same people, but go broad with the same type of
Mm.
content. So it was all about discovery, basically, rather than seeing the same. If you followed a business on Facebook, you would see more from that page. But on TikTok, that wasn't the case. If you followed a business, you saw more content like the business, but from their
Mhm.
competitors. So it changed that algorithm. So getting discovered was really, really easy on TikTok. Driving deep is really hard on TikTok. So it's a different algorithm. So all the other social networks, since TikTok has proven itself valuable, have changed their algorithm. So about it's been almost 2.5 years ago, Facebook started making a change to their algorithm to encourage more diverse content. And so that's what we have today is this, it's about discovery more than anything now. So that's part of the problem that businesses are having today on social media is if they're used to the old way of thinking about, I want to acquire my customers to me and then talk to them over and over again. You can do that if you have good content. The quality of your content is going to keep them there. But being discovered, the algorithms are geared to help you to be discovered by more people rather than go deeper with the same people. And so you have to think differently about, okay, I need higher quality content to keep the people with me. But if I have good content that people want to see, it'll get me shown by more people at the same
Yeah.
time. So what we've been recommending for businesses these days is use social media to engage and interact with people in the long term and find new people to talk to all the time. But also consider that you need to kind of peel them off of social media into a network opportunity where you can do more to capture that content and own the connection with your client. So this is probably the biggest trend that nobody knows about right now on social media. In fact, is the challenge. So this is coming from a standpoint of the social networks are now getting pressure for privacy rights. The issues that happen is, for a long time, we have been giving our data to social networks like Google and like Facebook and Twitter and them. We, as consumers, are the product, basically. The social networks are free for us to use because it's our data they're selling, basically. So that's why they want us to stay there. They want us to be, that's the freemium model. I need you to use this app because I'm going to target you with ads. So you're the product, basically, not the customer. The business is the customer to Google and Facebook and
Yeah.
these companies because of the advertising. So here's the problem though, is we as consumers are now saying, hey, I don't want you to know so much about me. I don't want you to have access to my location all the time and know where I'm at and show me ads from local businesses. I don't want you to, it feels a little creepy that you're following me around and you're hyper targeting me. So as a consumer, we don't want that. And so as consumers push back and laws are passed, like the GDPR in Europe, California has a version. America is still trying to find a version that they can work with. Um, as these privacy rights laws are being passed, it makes it harder for these social networks to build something that they can then be very profitable with. So what they're doing is they're actually switching how they do this. So they're trying to say, okay, we want to give people privacy, but in reality, we're not actually giving them privacy. We're just making it harder for our customers to see the data. So we're keeping it internal, basically, and we're not letting the business owners know the data. So, like for instance, on Facebook, you can see this in their ad platform. If you've been building ads on Facebook for a long time, hyper personalization is a really great
Yeah.
tool in there. You can really hyper target the ad. But what Facebook has been doing now is they're saying, okay, we're not going to show you the data for your customers anymore. Give us give us a little bit of information as to who to start to target. and then we're going to hide the rest of the data from you, and we're going to let our AI actually pick who your customer is. We're going to have the AI target the ad to where it thinks you can do this. So it's becoming harder for the average business to know who it is that they're talking to, basically on the other end. And that's a problem in marketing, because that makes it harder for us to know what kind of targeting are we doing. We have to change what we look at to see, is the end customer the right one we're attracting the right audience? Are we not? So the challenge is, if privacy rights become a bigger deal, then the social networks lose the opportunity to make money, which means they're going to have to start charging businesses to be on there and charging people to be on there. And some Facebook already has a monthly service subscription to get bonus extra stuff. Twitter does it as well, to get to get the blue check mark, where you have to pay to be on there. So as a business owner, what we tell our clients basically is, you need to own the connection to your audience. You need to make sure that you are in control of that. So capture email addresses, capture phone numbers. When you get a customer, capture their contact information, because you can send emails, you can send other things to them, like text messages and stuff, instant messages and things. If you as a business owner are relying on social networks to give you that data, you are basically renting access to your market. And because they have such data sets nowadays, it's, they have access to your markets. They already have all that established, so it's a quick, easy way to get in front of people. But the goal should not be to rely on them 100%, because if, like, TikTok's facing an existential crisis right now, the US government has signed a law that says that ByteDance has to basically either cut ties with the Chinese government, which will not happen because that'll violate their country laws, or they have to sell TikTok to a company who's not doesn't have ownership by the Chinese government. If they don't, then TikTok goes away. Access to TikTok will disappear in the United States by the end of this year. So if a social network drops off, if it goes away, if that's the way you're relying on getting your customers, you just lost access to your customers. So you want to realize that as a business, you need to control that. So that's where a good CRM comes in place, to connect you with your customers, have that data stored, and then give you the ability to message them without needing social media. So I like to use social media as a way to capture that information, get in front of a lot of people in a short period of time, get them to come see you, and then capture their information so that you can do other marketing to them, and see them on other sites and do other mediums of marketing to help stay in front of your customers. That in the long run, you're going to end up being more cost effective doing it that way than doing what we've always done, which is just rely on the social networks to give us everything, basically.
That's interesting. All right, so I think from what I get, you would advise that businesses should try to capture their customer emails, phone numbers, so if in case anything happens, which even apart from the things like TikTok, a lot of times you wake up and you see that your Facebook page or your whatever page is gone, has been deleted, and that's it. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, businesses today need to realize that because of technology we have, you need to understand that you are not selling a service or a product. You are not just doing that. You are also a data capture company. Have ways to capture the data of who your customer is. What are they buying from you? How much are they buying? How often are they buying? Who have they referred to me? When you can capture that kind of data on your customer, your marketing is going to be so much more effective than anything your competitors are doing. And that's what you need to be focusing on, especially in the small business space where you can have a lot of competition. If you want to get ahead, knowing who your customer is, what is an average age, what is their hobbies and interests, where do they live, what's going on with them, capture the data on your customer, because you will then be in a much better position to make sure that you can maximize your profits from a client. Like, most businesses today focus most of their time on new business. They want to capture new business all the time, and it's not necessarily bad, but if you are a service or a product that people can buy over and over again, like, say, like a massage therapy or a pest control company where people should use you multiple times, you need to make sure that you're spending a good 50% of your budget getting them to come back. once they've used you, if they had a good experience, it is so much easier to get them to come back than it is to get a new customer. So get them to come back, set up plans to encourage them to repeat. You're going to build a longer term business. I worked with a carpet cleaning service once, and I asked the guy, I said, okay, so when somebody hires you to do their carpets, how many times do they call you back to do the carpets? He says they usually call me back once a year for 3 years. And so I told him, I said, okay, the problem that you're having in your marketing is you are thinking I need to clean X number of carpets next week. So my job this week is to get next week filled up, basically with jobs. And that's all he was thinking. I just need jobs to finish next week. And so he was only planning a week in advance. And I said, well, here's the thing. If everybody that hires you is calling you back once a year for 3 years, every time you make a sell, you're booking the next 3 years of your business. And that changed his mindset of, oh my gosh, I should think this way, because if you do this, okay, now I'm here. Instead of waiting for them to call you back, why not just say a year from now, let's put you on the books to schedule you out. And then all you have to do is do some follow-up to confirm that they're going to make it, or reschedule them if they have to adjust. And you're booking 3 years of jobs in advance. You've got yourself there. And so that just that subtle change of understanding the value of that, he improved his business. He didn't have to work as hard on his marketing because he had more longer term customers. And then I told him, what if we helped you take your customers from 3 sales once a year for 3 years? And what if we helped you turn them into 4 or 5 years? So we extend this out there. And what if we help you to add on extras? You're not just cleaning carpets, but you also come back and do their upholstery. You're helping with other things that you can do. And so he started to realize, oh my gosh, there's so much I could do from my current customer base. I could stay busy and not spend much for marketing, which makes my business more cost effective. And I have more money now I can put into improving my equipment or hiring other people to help out. So it's a change of thinking to think about. I don't think of a sell as a one-off deal. Think of a sell as, how do we get this to go in the direction of multiple cells, basically, is what you want to do. So the more you can think in that direction, the better it'll be for you, basically.
So to make this relatable, because a lot of people would learn more from examples, can you share maybe one or two stories or case studies of businesses that have adopted social media and seen great results from it?
Yeah, absolutely, I can. So we had, well, so I should say, we have a client right now that sells a product online. And it's a very specific industry that they're involved with. They were a pretty new business when we started with them. They were looking for, how do I get my marketing out there? They've been doing some, person to person type sales, but that's really slow growth. It takes a lot of time to do. So we worked with them and said, let's help you build an online presence so people can learn about your business and know that you are here. And then we'll help to connect you with people inside your industry, so that more and more people can see you from inside the industry you're in. So we started working on making sure that they had a good presence online, they had good content, get interactions with people, and then we layered ads into it as well to drive traffic to their website. As we drive traffic to their website from the ads, we tweak and modify it. We look at their Google Analytics to see, is it working? Are the people staying? Are they doing this? We gave feedback to help them improve their website. And now, I mean, they're spending 3 times what they did before when they started, because it's showing results. We've been able to almost predict their future by looking at what kind of results they're getting now. So it keeps their sales up, it keeps things running, and they're really happy. They're busy as ever, basically, now, and working on new iterations of their products and other things, because their sales have been really strong and really going well. So they've been going, we've been helping them for 2 years now, basically grow their marketing and help them to think through sales and other things. So when we work with a business, we're not just posting stuff on social media for them. We're actually helping them understand. We want to understand their marketing efforts and their customer service efforts. And then we work on how can we help them in those areas using social media. And so we like to be a little bit more deeply ingrained and connected with the business, because we end up getting a better return for them if we understand their business more. Another one, let's see, probably I could do one maybe on like a
Yeah.
service type business. We've done a lot of different companies. We've done political campaigns. We've done grocery stores. That was an interesting one, to get a local grocery store to be seen in their local area more, get interactions and feedback from customers. In fact, we had a grocery store we were working with that we asked the question on their social media, hey, what is a product that we don't carry that you have to, you end up having to go to some other store to buy that, you wish we could carry for you? And we got several requests from people going, oh yeah, I have to go to this other store across town to get this one item that you don't carry. And so I gave that feedback to the manager, and they started carrying those items. And we were able to post, hey, guess what? These items are here now. They're over in this aisle in this section of our store.
Mm.
And everybody's like, oh, this is so awesome. This company pays attention to our customers. They love us. They're working with us. And so using it from a customer service standpoint for a store like a grocery store or convenience stores, fun centers, bounce houses, things like that, where you can build community around it and people can give feedback and you have a bit of a give and take with your customers. It helps your customers see you as paying attention. And they love that. We're all used to just businesses being a business and ignoring us until they know we have money. But a business who's willing to listen to feedback and willing to engage and interact with their customers is a business that it has really good customer service. And that's another part of how social media brings value to you. So we can help them go, look, this is the company that I want to shop with more because they listen to me. I can comment on Facebook and they'll go, oh, that's a good idea. We'll send it over to the manager and give them some feedback. And they like, oh my gosh, this company pays attention to me. I want to shop there because they pay attention to me. And it doesn't take much to get these kinds of things to happen, but you have to be on purpose with how you set those kind of interactions up on your social media sites. It's not about posting. It's about interacting. The posts are helping encourage interaction.
Yeah.
But most businesses want to post marketing, which does not get interaction, because let's face it, nobody wants more marketing. We don't want more spam. We don't want more junk mail. We don't want more robocalls. We want value. So building good value like education and information and entertainment will help your business to grow. And that is a very important thing to be working on. How can I educate and entertain and connect deeper with my customer? The more you do that, the more social media turns into a powerhouse for your business, basically.
I think that answers my next question, because I wanted to ask how, what are the best practices for a business to create engaging content? And you've said it, which is creating, educating, and entertaining content that will bring interaction. And also, so how best can a business do that and also build a following of relevance of people who are in their space, prospective clients?
So I want to make sure I understand how can a business create that engagement on their sites,
Yeah.
basically. The best thing that a business can do is get to know their customer. What is your customer looking like? Who is it? What is their age? What understand the geographic and demographics of your target audience will help you to build better content, because you want to think about what's going on in their life, what's happening to them. A classic example that we like to use is with a roofing company. The average owner of a home is who a roofing company wants to talk to, but they only need a roofer. To do a roof, you only need a roofer maybe once every 7 to 10 years. You don't need a roofer all the time. Depending upon if you're building a home, if you just built a brand new home, you're probably not going to need them for years because you got a brand new roof. It's going to take time for that roof to wear out. So the challenge for roofers is realizing that social media is is going to be a bit of a challenge on generating leads. You can generate leads. We've generated lots of leads for roofers off of it. But realize that the single best thing a roofer can do is teach people about home ownership, how to take care of
Mm,
your yard, how to take care of your house. So if a roofing company puts out content that helps a homeowner understand how to better take care of their home, they will get a consistent amount of followers. And while they get those followers, they then teach those followers through their content how to identify when you need to hire the roofer. Like in the wintertime, are you getting ice dams? If you're getting ice dams, then let us come out and help you to fix that. We can help with some heat tape, or we can help you do some other things to prevent the future problems from that. How to tell if your roof is leaking from the inside. You look at the ceilings. Are you getting bubbles? Are you getting color discolorations or other things like that on your ceilings? That can help you out. Climbing your attic, here's what to look for. If you're getting these kinds of stains or these kinds of problems on the wood, you've got a leak. Or here's how to tell if your roof is damaged in a windstorm or things like that. So you educate the clients, and basically you tell them, here's when to hire me. And the more they know when to hire you, the more they will hire you.
mm,
And that all of that is education. So you have to realize education and customer service are your best marketing these days. Traditional marketing does work. It still works fine. But the goal, and this is where most businesses suffer, is they're not educating their audience. They're only marketing to them. People want education. Education is the new sales. Educate your audience. That will help sell your business more, because it's a softer sell, but it gets people more information that they want. And then you do good customer service, and that'll help you to grow your business even faster. Get your customers to do the marketing for you, basically. You be the education company and the customer service company, and your customers will do the marketing part for you, basically. It's just a different mindset that businesses have to think about, and it'll help their business be much more effective if they do it.
that's a good one. So rather than posting marketing content or trying to market all the time, educate the customers. And when you educate them, you serve them, give good customer service. So they are the ones that would do the marketing for you and bring in new leads. That makes a lot of sense. So for businesses just getting started with social media marketing, what are the first steps you think they should take?
The first steps I recommend that they take, and these are things that we do help businesses to establish, is one, identify and understand who your target audience is. Once you understand your target audience, then you have an opportunity to really dial in your marketing, because you'll know what sites are they going to be on, what kind of content are they looking for, what are ways I can reach out to them. Once you understand them, then it's create a plan of how are we going to get these people to find us on social media and interact with us and then become a customer. So you want to put a strategy in place that says, okay, here's how we're going to move our people through this buyer journey to become a customer. Here's how we're going to capture their information. Here's how we're going to follow up with them. Here's how we're going to go in these directions, and then work at putting that in place. That is very important for you to do. If you do those steps, identify your target audience, have a strategy, of a plan laid out that says, here's how we're going to work things, and then you tweak and modify it as you put it in place to dial it in and make it better, you're going to have a marketing machine that'll help you to grow your business in the short term and in the long term, that'll help you get ahead of your competitors.
Great. So, doing social media, how can businesses track and measure the success of their efforts being put into social media?
The couple things that we like to recommend, one is most social networks do have some data sets that you can look at. So watch the data from the social networks, so you can see what's happening there. Um, I recommend tracking things to yourself as best as you can. If you're using a tool for like your auto scheduling or other things like that, use a independent link tracker is good to use, like a Rebrandly or a Bitly or something can help you to track links. Use a way to track phone calls. There's lots of services like Conversa or others that you can use for phone calls to keep track. So you want to make sure that you are tracking the right things to know, is it working or not. The social networks can give you data on that, and then track the specific behaviors you want to track like traffic to your website or calls or messages that are coming in. And then as you do that, you want to also make sure you're looking at your website data. So Google Analytics is very important to have, so that you can track and know what's happening on your website. And then have, again, your own tracking for sales. Where are our leads coming from? What are happening with them? And then how can we, who's responding to our emails? How are we putting these things in place? So anything with online marketing, always understand how are you going to measure the effectiveness of each stage of the process. You're going to have a percentage of customers drop off at each step. Each time there's a click, each time there's one more thing for the person to do, a percentage of people will not make that next step. They'll drop off. So how do we make sure we're getting enough people through the process, and how do we keep those people that are dropping off re-engaged and working with us more? Those kind of things will help you to build a more efficient marketing system to grow your business and keep your costs down, basically, and be more effective. So use the social networks, use Google Analytics, use your own tracking as well to track the end result that you want to do. Look at your sales, look at what's happening inside your business, and know which customers are coming through what channels, and who is the customers, and are they the right audience, or are they not, and capture that information in your business. Every business needs to realize that you are a data capture machine. Your business is a data capture business. Every business is this today. And if you capture the customer's data, you will have a better time growing a better business.
That's great. So, for business owners who maybe after they've heard everything we've talked about in the last 40 or so minutes are still hesitant about using social media in 2024, do you have any final words of advice for them?
Yeah, if you're not using social media, one, you are missing out on one of the easiest, fastest, greatest ways to grow your business that has ever been invented. You need to be on. You need to be there, and you need to realize that having good, regular content does help. That doesn't necessarily mean daily, but have good content that people want to see. Uh, Putting money into building content is well worth it. It seems like the problem is it's hard to have a direct one-to-one relationship from your cost of content planning to sales. And most businesses only want to focus on the simple sells, basically. Like traditional marketing, I can run an ad and I can see how many people came from that ad. On social media, it's not quite the same. But if you build the right content and get people to interact with you, you will see your sales grow. You will see it move. We have lots of clients that they don't do a good job of tracking on their end, their sales, and we're trying to encourage them to be better at that. But they know. In fact, we had a client. This is kind of a funny story. We had a customer. It was a dry cleaning service. He called to cancel actually our services. He's like, I just don't think it's working. And I told him, I says, well, we've got like 150 people a month going to your website about signing up for your free pickup and delivery. And he said, oh, really? We have had a pickup in our free pickup and delivery, actually. And I said, well, there you go. It actually, the problem is he wasn't tracking it on his
Yeah,
end properly. He was looking at the dollars. He wasn't realizing, he saw that there was dollars coming in, but he just couldn't prove those dollars were being affected by
yeah.
us. And so as we talk with our clients, we'd like to try to help them see, here's where it's making the difference. And then he goes, oh, it is. And he's been with us ever since. It works. It's just understanding how it is affecting it. And in today's world where people can find you in 9 different directions, they can, some people will find you in email, some people find you online and websites, some people find you on social media, some people will find you as they drive by your location, or their friends will tell them about you, or there's 100 different ways that people can find you. So you have to track every one of those and think about that process. And that's what we do, is help them with that, basically. So um, good content, have a good experience out there, and educate your audience, and provide them with real value, and you'll never have a problem growing a business, basically.
All right, that's great. So for listeners who want to reach out to you, who want to learn more from you, probably who want to work with you to get on social media or grow their social media or get results from the social media, how can they best reach you?
The best way to reach us is on social media. Smart Social, SMRT Social is our name. You can find us on nearly every site that's out there. We do a lot of education ourselves. We teach businesses about marketing and business and trends and tips and ideas. So follow us for good advice. We do have classes online that we offer where you can learn self-directed to learn marketing yourself. We do coaching, and we can help manage all your social media for you. So we have a variety of opportunities to help a business out at every stage of the process. But come follow us, Smart Social, and we'd love to work with you more.
Thank you. So, Smart Social would link your website, your social media links in the show notes once this goes live. So, thank you so much for coming on the Tech Your Business podcast.
You're welcome, Peter. I've sure enjoyed my time.
Thank you. So, for the listeners, did you get any value from this episode? If you did, and probably you've learned something about doing better with your social media, or you know anyone who has challenges with their social media, you can share this episode with them. And if you want to be the first person to know when we post more helpful content like this, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're seeing us or hearing us on. So scroll down through our 70 something episodes that we have online. So that's like 10 episodes a day till next week when we come with a brand new episode. Bye for now.